What's up, everybody, and welcome to Enters the Lab. Currently, right now, we getting ready for this Thursday night game. I'm kind of getting ready for bed because y'all know I don't stay up that late. But shout out to my Atlanta Falcons, though, for beating them Buffalo Bills. You're welcome, Jake Mick. Had to put my buddy back in first place over there on that AFC East. My boys came to play, but now we got them San Francisco 49ers. And if you really know your football, you know there's a little bit of history between the Falcons and the 49ers. But we finna get in. We finna talk about these college coaches and these college teams and some good games coming up this weekend. But we also gonna talk about this NFL college, these NFL firings that are already starting. So let's go ahead and get down into What's up, fellas? How are y'all doing on this evening? Like I said, I'm gonna be looking like Angel Mama right now, but we gonna make it work. You know, my birthday around the corner, so we trying to. When I come back, y'all already know. Y'all. Okay, anyway, but how y'all doing?
Good evening, E. Good evening, fellas.
All right, so we are going to get down tonight. We got the Old Man Bowl. We already know we got the two. As my granny would say, you got two people, two dudes over here playing old as Methuselah. So that's what we gonna sit over here and do. We gonna watch this bowl tonight. But let's go ahead and jump into it and get into some of this college football that we have going on. As everybody knows, there's been a couple of coaches firing, a couple of people have been leaving out. The biggest news, which we did talk about last week, surprisingly, we talked about last week, and that's with James Franklin getting fired legitimately from Penn State. Now, rumor has it is that Adidas was the one to push that fire, and since we know that Penn State is becoming a new partner, one of the schools that are becoming a new partner is underneath that Adidas brand and switching from Nike to Adidas. So that's what the rumor is. I mean, hey, if the Boosters love it, there it is. But I'm gonna start with you, C. since this is a team that's in your conference right now. What like how does this feel moving on to know that they made this move when they probably could have waited to the end of the season to see if it could have turned around?
You know what? A little bittersweet. James Franklin has definitely, helped turn that program around and brought it back to, prominence in his, I think it was 12 seasons there. But again, we talked about his inability to win that, win that big game, win that tough game. And I've always thought that he hasn't really had that quarterback to get over the hump. Big scheme of things, though, like we talked about last week, I think it's key that these universities take a realistic view of the coaching landscape as well as themselves and see, what they truly have to offer. Just looking online, I don't have boots on the ground or anything in Pennsylvania at all, but they feel like that's a premier job. They feel like, that's a job that all top tier coaches would want to be at. I think that it has some challenges. I think it is a top tier job, and it's going to be interesting to see who they can attract to come to that job. We saw one guy, Kurt Signetti, signed an 8-year deal with Indiana today, an extension paying him 11.5. So I would guess that would take him off the market for that job. So just going to be eager to see, what happens there. And I think James Franklin, with all the failure that we've seen him in those big time games, he's shown that he can build programs small and large. And I think that he's probably going to be a premier coach on the market for every job other than the Penn State job. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. J. Mick, what do you think? What are your thoughts to this? I know the SEC, we ain't got no problem with it. I'm just saying. But what is your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time we played Penn State. So I mean, from a personal perspective, it really doesn't mean anything in terms of Georgia. But like, I just think he left the school with no choice, man. I mean, like when you lose to a winless UCLA and you come home to play Northwestern and you don't beat Northwestern at home, I mean, I just don't. I mean, like he gave the school a really easy choice. I mean, with the caliber of team and athletes that they have at Penn State, you should not be losing to like Northwestern at home. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who the running backs are, the wide receivers, the corners, or like the linebackers. Like Penn State ain't supposed to be losing to like Northwestern, and they like they just had enough, and like they really weren't going anywhere. Like they made it far last year, but they of course didn't get the job done. And this year, like when they lost to Oregon, it was a close game, and they lost that game, and then they lost 2 more after that. And in this age of the playoff, when you lose 3 games, you're pretty much done unless the 3 losses are to 3 highly ranked teams. Other than that, like once they lost to UCLA, I pretty much thought that they're like college playoff, situation was over.
Yeah.
So, they're probably gonna get some new blood in there. I've heard a couple names. I can't remember the guy's name, but like it's the old Carolina Panthers coach. Like what was his name?
Matt Rule.
Yeah. So I seen something that said that's Matt Rule's dream job. So they might reach out to him. So yeah.
Okay, Snooks, what do you think? Like I said, I know you're part of the SEC too. I don't. This doesn't affect us all too much, but it can be, again, because we're going to get into calls, but there's a rumor about your head coach too, when it comes down to it. But what do you think about this James Franklin's firing?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, it doesn't affect us maybe in the SEC, but I'm kind of hoping my school has a similar result. But we'll get to that. No, I think the 2 gentlemen before said a lot. And I know one of the things that I don't know which one of us mentioned it last week was even if he kind of would have went on a little bit of a winning streak, or maybe they would have suckered out and he would have, ended okay. Well, where is that really going to get you? It just kind of felt like, and then now to Jamie's point, now you just gave them a really valid reason. You just lost to a winless team. You lost to a team at home that you clearly should have beaten. And then now you go to the point you brought up, and now you have all this new money coming in next season with Adidas and those type of things. It just felt like, if you knew you probably were going to make the change. And I think all of this just gave you more of an excuse to do it now. And on the Matt Rule front, I'll be honest, I wouldn't go that route if I was them. That's just my opinion. I would want to, not saying not to get an experienced guy, but I just would want to, I don't know, just go a different route. But I saw the same thing, that he's kind of like the leading odds person and he's favored and things like that. But we'll see if they do. But I definitely think it was time, and I think it was just the smart move.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. When we're looking at it with it, Penn State has now lost a couple of recruits, even though I don't think it has anything on this upcoming class. But that 2027, 2028 class, a lot of those recruits are starting to drop. And just to throw this out here, J Mick, we got our eye on the 5-star running back that they didn't let go. Just wanted to say that because we eye about it, But that again, Penn State is not one of those schools like we mentioned before. When he took over, they were just now coming from a very bad scandal and different things. So it's not an easy school to coach at. But also now that you're a team in the Big Ten, you still got Ohio State, you still got Michigan. Now you have Oregon, you got UCLA, you got a little tough little thing when it comes down to trying to get those recruits. So they have to find somebody strong. Because you got to look at some of the recruits that went to Penn State, but let alone the talent that has came out of Penn State over the past couple of years. So you have to kind of take that into consideration. So I'm not sure what big name that they're going to get, but it's going to have to be somebody that can keep bringing in that talent like James Franklin was when it comes down to it. Go ahead, Hen.
Real quick, and I wanted to ask you guys, and I think I touched upon it last time. You got to really, really evaluate yourself and see really, really who you are. Yeah. I know we're talking about college playoff and, where would they be? But when you look at them, Penn State, I know they would like to be, just like Michigan. We would like to be perennially in that college football playoff conversation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like you said, you've mentioned the teams in the I almost said the NFC, the Big Ten, if you will. Ohio State. I'm not even going to put Michigan in there. Oregon. Some of these teams you have, and then you have the teams from the other conferences, the SEC and the other conferences. Realistically, are you that team that consistently is going to be in the mix? I know you would like to be, but are you in that mix? And what's keeping you from there? Is it just the coaching? It may be the culture. It may be your NIL situation. I think a full-fledged kind of evaluation has to be done, because it might not be just the coaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, be careful who you ask for. And a question I have for you guys, I'm hearing names like, again, and I think this is probably coming from their end, the Penn State end. I'm hearing names like, let's call Nick Saban, or let's call Urban Meyer, and this and that. I'm saying, I'm hearing these great names, a couple of NFL names. Let's call Joe Brady. But then I'm hearing the guys who are more realistically in the mix. A guy like Matt Rule, who we've seen at Nebraska, has been very mid to me. A guy like Matt Campbell from Ohio, from Iowa State. The Tim Elko kid is, the guy, I shouldn't say kid. The gentleman, he's done a pretty good job where he currently is, but doesn't have a long, history of doing well. Are these better alternatives than James Franklin?
I mean, and that's a dang good question, to be honest with you. That's why I said, like, when you're looking at this opening and you're looking at who Penn State is, you have to really think about who you're bringing in. And now this is what I'm going to put in Snook's team. When it comes down to Florida has had great coaches over their years. They have hit a snag when it comes down to trying to find that right coach for them. They thought they had one in Billy Napier, because Billy Napier has ties to Nick Saban. So they thought that they had it, but they haven't gained that success over there. Now they're on the verge of trying to find a new coach. And you could ask the same question about Florida. Is it the coaching? Is it the culture? What is it? Because they have the talent. Florida definitely can be up there with a Georgia, Alabama, a Ole Miss, a Tennessee. They can definitely be up there with it, because the SEC is definitely open, because almost everybody has equal playing field. I mean, look at Vandy, for instance. Vandy definitely has having the momentum that they're having right now. So when we're looking at situations like that, I think a lot of these teams want to go for these high names, just like we do in the NFL. We want to go out for these high caliber people. Who Ben Johnson, that was with the Texans. Everybody wanted Ben Johnson, that was with him. Hold on, Ben Johnson was with the Texans, or was he with Detroit?
With Detroit.
Detroit.
Who was the one with the Texans?
Slowick.
There we go. I don't know. They look like twins to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. But everybody wanted him when they seen what he did with CJ Stroud. Then when Texans let him go, the fizzle died out. I haven't heard anything from him. So it's just like, sometimes I think that there needs to be an evaluation, so you won't end up looking like UNC. Bill Belichick is a big name, but what has he done at UNC right now?
Not much.
So I mean, this is a big question mark. This is definitely a big question mark when it comes down to coaching, especially some of these top and high end programs. And to go to Snook's point really quick about Florida, because Billy Napier, they're saying that he should be fired about this weekend. Even after a big win against Texas at home, the boosters are still not happy with Napier. So I don't know, Snooks, if you got any boots on the ground, any intel of kind of what you're hearing out there, but what are your kind of thoughts on Billy and them probably letting them go either now or probably by the end of the season?
No, I know. I think end of the season is pretty much a slam dunk. But no, the things that are being rumored is that it could potentially happen as soon as this weekend. Obviously, especially for some reason, if the Gators were to lose, that's like what as you would say, the boots to the ground are saying. But I think as far as I think the Gators would have to win out and probably win their bowl game for him to come back. I don't think it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's the same situation because he hasn't been in the same type of like recruiting class with big games maybe as much as Franklin, but it's just him type of thing. Like, what's really keeping Napier around going to really do? He's never started 2-0, so if he goes on a winning streak now, wins a bowl game, you're going to hope next year's the one season he finally starts 2-0. I just think it's too risky. And the same thing we're saying about Penn State going after a name, I think the Gators are going to try to do the same thing. So I think they're going to dip their hand into that pool as well. So, now would be the time to do that, go that route.
So much. Go ahead, Sam.
A question to the panel. Do you guys think that we've heard that Adidas kind of pushed this changing of at the coaching helm of Penn State? I guess my question is, what's the impetus for these schools doing these firings so early during the season? Are these guys trying to get a jump on the coaching search, get ahead of some of these other schools, or what's the kind of motivation to do it now? Or is it just kind of to keep the recruiting class together? I think that does kind of has the opposite effect, if you will. So what do you guys think that the impetus and what's the pros and cons to these firings happening during the regular season?
Anyone can answer that.
I mean,
go ahead, Jeremy. No, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yes, for me, I just think they want the job to be vacant, so that the candidates that they want to talk to, they already know that it's open. I mean, I think that's one part of it. The problem, but you know, I mean, that's the positive part. But the bad part about it is these recruits. Some of these recruits are not just going to the school for that particular school for the money. Some of them are going to the school because they like the coach and they want to play under the coach. And I mean, like, you know, I mean, the money got something to do with it, but like I said, like it's the coach sometimes, or it could be the position of coach. And I mean, if those coaches aren't there, as you see, like when you fire a coach, like I mean, some of the commits are decommitting and going back into the pool, and they're taking visits, or they hop into the portal of the kids that are already there, and then they'll like hop into the portal. So it's just like, I mean, there's a good part about it and there's a bad part about it, and you got to hope the guy that you hire is going to be able to bring in, I mean, like their own recruits right away, because like I said, you're firing a coach like this, like Penn State did, you're going to lose, and I mean recruits, and there's really nothing that you can do about
it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Snooks.
Yeah, and I would just add in, I mean, like as well too, is sometimes you do it because maybe you have a couple of people in mind. So to J-Make's point, now you show them that, okay, look, it's open. You can start looking into them a little bit more. Maybe start talking to to their people, things like that. And I just think gives you a head start. But there's always going to be the risk. If you fire a head coach, even when you bring in the new guy, there's going to be a little bit of risk, right? So I think with the recruiting class thing, I just think you have to, I guess as they would say, take your chances that it's not going to completely, like also the next day you're going to get like, 20 kids that, like don't, like decommit or something like that. So, I mean, I think you probably have a little bit of knowledge of that as well. Like I think, I don't know, like I always like to think, and I could very well be wrong, but a lot of times, especially I think James Frank's situation where the writing was kind of on the wall, we kind of saw this coming, you had two ample opportunities, like we can go on and on, right? I feel like the steps were taken. We're like, okay, hey, if we were to do this, what would, kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like that, not fully crossed that bridge, but I felt like they started to build it a little bit and kind of had an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's kind of the truth to it. I mean, and to answer CN's point about the recruiting class, you're never going to keep a recruiting class together. Any coach that comes in, even when we fired Mark Richt, Kirby had to automatically hop on that recruiting trail to keep that class together. Same thing when the board came in after Nick Saban. He got a couple people left, they did, but he still kept that class together. So you have to, like right now, firing somebody this early, in my honest opinion, the assistants that are still there are definitely going to have to work overtime to try to keep the class together until they can figure out who that new head coach is going to be to actually kind of rank in the class. So that's just the hard part about it, but that's just the honest truth when it comes down to college football. You are going to get a coach that, you like and different things like that, but once they're out the door, it's like, okay, so what it is, a lot of times it always happens. And that's why I always tell these new age kids now, stop going to these schools for money. Because what if the coach is not there? So are you going to stay there because of the money, or are you going to drop? And we have seen that the kids still,
and guess what? The money may change when the coach changes. If the guys, you know what I'm saying, if the coach's point of view of the player changes, then the money could
change as well.
So
exactly. So that's why I said pick the schools that you know for a fact that you're going to get developed at, and pick the schools that you go. Don't just go to these schools for money, because as we can see right now, Penn State said, hey, we all know, we seen what Oregon got with Nike. Nike pays for a lot of those NILs up there at Oregon. So we already know what Adidas is coming in trying to do. So if that is the truth with that, I completely understand. I ain't finna mess with my bread.
No, so one last thing with that. So does Adidas have a coach in mind? Do they have somebody they kind of steer their way? I mean, how does that work?
They don't have a coach in mind. They just basically said you better put somebody in there that's gonna win.
I know in basketball they have a little AAU connected some folks. I mean,
yeah,
this is kind of
but
crazy.
but
Like,
I do think
then
Stehen, to the question that you asked before, like I do think that Penn State though has a couple people in mind, and I think that's another reason why you get ahead of it while you can, so getting their ear a little earlier, a little sooner. Right. So, but yeah, I'm sure they have people in mind. Will they get one of those guys? I don't know, but I would like to think they probably have a list of like 2 or 3 guys that they're really, really going to try to get.
Let's see.
Well, they spent what was it? It was 50 mil. They spent 50 mil on his buyout, which people are tripping about the 50 mil. I said, I guess y'all didn't see when Jimbo Fisher left Texas A&M, and that man was almost close to 80 mil. So again.
What an agent. Where Jimbo at? Jimbo just sitting up somewhere on the island somewhere.
Jimbo's having Arnold Palmer somewhere. He's good.
Nah, Jimbo said he wants to come back. It's a few little openings, so I don't know. We'll see about Mr. Fisher. But we are getting close to November. We are in the middle of August. College football playoffs are looking very, very, things are starting to get locked down right now. Things are starting to become a little bit more serious, and these games are starting to become a little bit more critical. So as we're looking at some of these college football playoffs, and this is going to lead into these games that we're going to talk about now, there are going to be some critical games that are playing right now. Georgia Tech is actually making a good case of putting their name in the hat for as far as trying to enter the college football playoffs. But they have Duke, and Duke is a 1.5 favorite coming on. So that's going to be a very important game for them. Then you got LSU and Vanderbilt, 10 versus 7. That's another critical game because Vandy was undefeated until they met up with Alabama, but we haven't seen good play from LSU currently right now. We have not seen that. So they literally saying that LSU is underdogs against Vandy, and they really are. So this is a critical game because both can actually come in and make a chance at the playoff. Texas A&M is still in the running as well. I know there's a lot of SEC teams, but this just shows you how wide open the SEC is right now when it comes down to it. So they're in the mix with that. They're playing at Arkansas. We already know Oregon took their first L of the season, so Oregon is there, but they still have to meet up with Ohio State. So it's not critical now, but it's going to get critical very later and late. Then you have Texas and Kentucky, and then now we're coming up and you have Notre Dame and USC. Notre Dame is definitely in the play, but USC is 5-1. So they're more than likely in the play for this right now. So that's another critical game. But the 2 critical games that we're going to talk about today is going to be Mississippi State, not Mississippi State, Ole Miss versus Georgia. I wish we was playing Mississippi State, but Ole Miss versus Georgia, and then we have Tennessee versus Alabama. Now, this is a definitely critical game for Georgia. They already have their one loss against Alabama, and they're playing at home against Ole Miss. They made a college game day. I don't know why they did that, but they made it a college game day game. Ole Miss is undefeated. Yeah. Georgia got lucky. I ain't gonna say. Let me not say that. Let me not talk about.
I mean, we ain't get lucky, and
we ain't get lucky
last week. God damn it, we earned that win.
Look, you see, I got the dogs on today. So yes, we did. We definitely earned that.
That's so crazy.
We definitely earned that win. Yeah, look, I got to rep when I can, but no, we definitely earned that win. That I don't know if any of y'all ever sat silent during your games, like NFL or college, where you just sit there and you just silent the whole time. It's like, are you all right? And you just silent. I sat silent during that first half.
Yep.
That was a game and a half with that win against Auburn. But let's go ahead and dive into that really quickly. We do have that Ole Miss and Georgia game. I think Georgia is like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know we need money.
We do.
Yeah, we're a 7-point favorite for that game. So J Mick, I'm gonna start with you because I want to get our game out the way. What do you think about this game? I know you're like me. We're going to pick Georgia to win anyway. But what do you think about this game going in? So good old Athens.
So like obviously like we played Ole Miss last year, man, and it's funny because I got into an argument with a Bama fan earlier today, and they were just trying to tell me that our loss to Bama last year was the worst loss we had last year. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? Like the Ole Miss loss was much worse. I mean, like Ole Miss, we weren't really never in that game. I mean, like you could even say we got boat race, and we normally don't get boat racing games, and that's kind of what happened. And so I just think going into this game's in Athens. Ole Miss typically does not win there. I think that's why the spread is 7.5 because Vegas telling you that they, Ole Miss when they come to Athens, they really don't win. They've historically not won there. But I think what Georgia has to do to win the game is, like every game we kind of started off slow. And I don't think you can do that against Ole Miss because the kind of offense that Ole Miss has, they have the capability of scoring really, really quickly. And so what you don't want to do, like they're not Auburn where, you can fall behind 10, 14 points and you can come back because the Auburn quarterback, Jackson Arnold, is just not that good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for people. He's just not that good. He's not that accurate. He's got great skill position guys around him, but he can't get the guys the ball on a consistent basis throughout the duration of the game. Ole Miss is a little different now. I mean, like they got the talent on the outside, but they have a quarterback that can get them the ball. So I just feel like Georgia got to start off a lot quicker. Defense got to play better in the first quarter, or not even just the first quarter, but the first half offense too. I do think we're going to be able to run the football though. I think that's something that consistently that we do every game, and I don't see that changing. And if Gunner seems to be getting better with each game, so I'm encouraged by that as well. But yeah, I mean, I think we can win the game. I mean, as long as we don't turn over the ball, and as long as our corners can actually cover people, I think we should win.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Snugs. I know we see y'all here in a minute. This literally today is literally on my birthday, and I don't like that we play y'all on my birthday because that's just horrible. That's just really horrible. But what do you think about this game against your foes going up against Ole Miss?
No, I mean, listen, Jimmy made a lot of really good points, and this was a hard game to pick. But I think a lot of the reasons why I went with Georgia is just because of it being at home, and just kind of leaning in a little bit into that, and maybe just a little bit of like, I don't know, maybe Ole Miss do a loss, and if it's going to happen, probably at a place they don't really historically win, to a good team and things like that. So, but I mean, like Jamie said, I mean, the quarterback's been playing well. Their offense is kind of on a roll and things like that. I should be a really good game. I mean, this is a close. I mean, 7.5 is a lot, so I think you should feel comfortable taking that if you're looking for those if you're on the betting side. But yeah, tough game. But I'll take Georgia's mainly because they're playing at home, and I think Ole Miss is. I don't think Ole Miss is going to run the table. So if I'm going to give them a loss, why not now?
Understandable. See him. We need money. What do you think?
We need money. Listen, man. Snug, I like the way you're talking, man. 7.5 is a lot. I haven't seen a lot of Ole Miss, but I know the last couple of years they put together some very solid defenses. And I gotta give a shout out, man, to the young man who's playing quarterback, Mr. Trinidad Chambliss, a guy who came from Division II Fair State, right here in Michigan. You know what I'm saying? He's a product of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Playing, man, graduated from Grand Rapids to Division II and now playing on the biggest stage in the biggest game on a great weekend. So I'm eager to see what he can do. A dual threat guy, you know what I'm saying? Give a little bit more shake and bake than young Jackson Dart back there. I don't know if he's the passer that Jackson Dart is, but I like the athleticism that he brings to that team. And Lane Kiffin is going to do a great job coaching them up. So I'm taking the points for sure, and I'm picking a slight upset, man. I think there's been a little bit of, there's a changing of the guard going on. And I know, every time that we all, have a consensus here, we don't have good results. So I'm doing this for the team here. You know what I'm saying? For team building and the results of everybody. So I'm gonna go against the grain, take the points, like Snuggin said, and pick a little bit of an upset here with Ole Miss. It might be Lane Kiffin time, man. Nick Saban out of there, he might be the next boy genius. Kirby better come on with it.
I don't think too far much of that. We'll see, because Lane sometimes could put his foot in his mouth, just like
He can.
So
He already did it this week already.
You know what
I
I'm saying? That's
think he
Monty's
did.
son. No, that's Monty's son. No, that's Monte. Monte, however you want to call him. That's Monty's son.
All right, let's move into this next game. We got Tennessee and Alabama. Just to remind you, Tennessee is 2-0 against Alabama coming into this game. They got a little win streak going on against them after all those years of being bullied and everything else by Nick Saban. Tennessee finally came in. They are actually Alabama's actually an 8.5-point favorite though. But again, Tennessee is coming to Alabama.
Hypo beat Saban?
Huh?
Hypo beat Saban?
Yeah, with Bryce Young.
Yeah, he did.
With Bryce Young, right before Saban left, with Bryce Young.
I mean, the only school Tennessee can't beat is Georgia. That's it. That's
it. 9 years. It's 9 years.
That's all right. Okay.
9 years. I mean, Kentucky can't beat us either. It's been 16. So, but no, like I said, they got them a little streak going on. I'll be honest with you. Alabama has been playing cocky, which that's how you're supposed to play in football. You play a little cocky. You think that people, count you out and different things like that. It gives you that little motivation, and you go out and you do what you're supposed to, and you win. Don't mind that. Don't mind a little ego. Don't mind a little cocky. I promise you, I don't. But Tennessee, I think Tennessee can pull this one off. And the only reason why is you can run the ball on Alabama. They got a running quarterback. Their defense is not. They front seven. I give the front seven. Quarterback a little shaky, and I think they still got their top corner that's still out for the season. I haven't checked with their injury report yet, so they're a little shaky. When it comes down to it for Tennessee, but the only thing you have to really do is stop Ryan Williams and force Ty Simpson to really be a quarterback. If you can put a couple of sacks on him and different things, this game can get ugly really quick. Because Tennessee, I don't think Tennessee's a no pushover. Trust me, after watching us play Tennessee, they ain't no pushovers, and they do got them a good wide receiver over there that can blow the top off of Alabama. So my vote is to Tennessee, but this game is really, I don't even think it's going to be by 8.5 points. I think it's going to be closer than what that is. I'm not going to sleep on Tennessee. The only thing is Heupel just can't outcoach himself. That's just my thing with that. J. Mick, what do you think?
I hate to say what I'm about to say, man, because I hate Alabama like poison. I
hate both of them. They can both lose in my honesty.
Yeah, but the way college
for all I
works,
care, the power can go out and they tie.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is not the NFL, so there is no possibility of a tie. Unfortunately,
I know.
But I just think Bama, like, they're on a roll right now. Like, I hope Tennessee could give them like a little issue. But I think my issue is that with Tennessee is just like it's just the defense, and if they don't, if their corners and their D tackles aren't back, because when we played them, like, they were pretty hurt. So if those guys are not back, I just think you got a handful of, you got a handful with, Bernard and Ryan Williams, and even the tight end for Bama. I forgot his name top of my head, but even he gets open. And like Ty Simpson is he's a very accurate quarterback. And if you give him time, he's gonna cut you up. He's proven that over multiple games. I think I'd give Tennessee a better shot if the game was in Tennessee, but the game's in Tuscaloosa. I just think it's going to be tough. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a night game as well, if I'm not mistaken.
They play at 7:30. They're the ABC's choice of the night game this week.
Yeah, so like going in there into Tuscaloosa and playing that night is a very difficult. It's like that with any SEC school pretty much. Outside of maybe like Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. Well, I can't say Mississippi State because of them. The Bills.
The freaking cowbells.
Yeah, cowbells. Other than them 1 or 2 schools, every school that's in SEC you play at night, it's going to be a tough game. I don't know about the 8.5. I would take Alabama money line. Like I don't think they're going to cover it, because I don't think Bama didn't cover it against Vandy last week. I think Vandy got a late scorer in and didn't cover the spread. But I do like Bama in the game. I just think they got a lot of talent, and I just think if they can keep Brazil in check, it's going to make it hard on the Tennessee offense.
Okay. Snooze, what you think?
No, I mean I'm kind of on the same lines, and you said it for me towards the end. Was your point is I don't really like the Tennessee head coach, man, and I think I'm not high on that guy. This is the kind of game to me that I just feel like he just not, like, to Jamie's point, Alabama's playing really well right now, for as hard as it is to say. They just feels like they kind of found their wave, a little bit, and I don't know. Like, I just night game, Alabama. It just feels like this is just gonna a win for them. The 8.5 again. It's just it's a lot of points, but I don't know. Like part of me almost wants to say that Bama's gonna. When I say blow them out, I don't mean by 20 points, but like, I guess Jamie has a good point. Taking money line. The 8.5 kind of worries me because I can see Alabama winning this game by 10. I could see like a 31-20 or something like that type score. Yeah. So that's why I'm a little but I think Alabama should win this game pretty comfortably.
Okay. CN, we need money, honey. What you think?
Yeah, I'm with both you guys. And Gal, I think. Well, actually, no, you took Tennessee. I'm not a big Josh Heupel fan, and I don't know if I'm a big Kalen DeBoer fan either. So I'm kind of torn at the coaching aspect. I do agree that Ty Simpson has been playing really, really well at the quarterback spot. And I'm going to give this game pretty much to Alabama because I think they just have a little bit more talent on their roster right now than Tennessee. But again, don't trust either coach. Alabama seemingly has kind of found their way. And I think that, maybe they have a slight edge in the trenches here, but we're going to find out. But I'm Alabama in the close one, though.
Okay. All right. So, remind you, these two games are critical games moving for the college football playoffs. Because again, once we get into November, that's when the CFP rankings start coming out, and that's when we really find out who are the top 12 teams. Depends on winning losses. So these can be having some teams looking on the outside, looking in, and hoping and praying that somebody folds at the end, or they can make a statement and have their chances of actually making it into the playoffs. So we're going to see. So y'all keep a lookout. Some good games this weekend. There's some other games with some teams that are not there, but there's some definitely good college football being played this weekend. So let's get over here into the NFL. The fun part. What everybody wants to see. Yes, the fun part. We already had some firings going on in the NFL, just like college football. Tennessee said peace to their coach. They decided to go ahead and let his coach. That man, I think, was only 4-19 over the season, over the course of his 18 months of employment. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, even though he was on year 2, there was only 18 months. It was 18 months. He didn't make it a full year. So Tennessee fans are happy. They wanted him gone. A lot of people had actually called his firing after that game, to be honest with you. A lot of people said that it's time for him to go. So they are happy with that. And this just a little tidbit. All the previous last 3 first-round draft picks have all got their head coaches fired.
I saw that. It's kind of crazy.
All 3 of them.
It's kind of crazy.
Got their head coaches fired. So is it a first-round draft pick for quarterbacks curse? If you go in there, you might get fired. So we're gonna start hold on there. Tennessee, Tennessee is AFC. Yeah, they AFC. So we're gonna start with J-Mig.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, man. I'm kind of mad, man, because it's like we played them on Sunday, so I was hoping to play the terrible coach one more time. I think we're gonna win regardless. But I mean, why can't you keep that fella on for one more week? Just a couple more days. Just saying. I think the interim coach is Mike McCoy, which I'm old enough, and you've been watching football long enough, and you know that he used to coach the Chargers back in the day.
Yeah,
and he was a good head coach to begin. I mean, he's not a good head coach to begin with, anyways. I mean, I do expect there to be a little bit of a bump from the players because they fired the coach. So from what I hear, the players did not like Callahan at all. So they might get a little bump from that. But the other problem is the offensive line coach was Bill Callahan. Everybody knows Bill Callahan, one of the best offensive line coaches in football. So it's great that you fired the head coach, but it's like collateral damage where obviously the father's not going to stay on when you fired his son. So I think the offensive line might suffer from Bill not being there. And let's just face it, man, Tennessee is not a very talented team, especially on offense. They don't really got a bunch of wide receivers. I do like their running backs. I mean, I think like Tajay Spears just came off the IR and they got Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like those two guys. I don't really like any of the veteran wide receivers. I mean, I do like the kid that got out of Stanford. I think his name is like Elix something. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name. But I mean, going into the draft, I did like him. So I mean, he's I mean, he's one positive part of their offense. And then I think Sweat is starting to Sweat, the kid that drafted from Texas last year, he's coming off IR as well. I don't know if he's going to play this week. But if you pair him with Jeffrey Simmons, I mean, that's the bright part of the defense. Everything else on that team is trash. So I don't know what kind of bump they're going to get, because even the game that they won, like Arizona gave them that game. They had no business winning that game.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, like they'll get a little bump, but then you figure my coach is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel got fired by that owner. The owner's the same owner. She's still there. So I think it's a similar situation with Buffalo, where Stephon Diggs went back to Buffalo and he was really motivated. I think Mike Vrabel is going to be really motivated to go, because this game is in Tennessee. I think he's going to be really motivated, and not just him, but the team is going to want to win it for him. Kind of galvanize the whole team, because we've been playing pretty well through the first 6 games. So I think he's going to galvanize the team, and I think it's going to be ugly for them on Sunday. I'm just to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be a good outcome, and I just don't know who they're going to get to coach the team, because it's like, yeah, I mean, they got Cam Ward, and I do like Cam Ward. Like I do like his arm and his accuracy and all that, but that team is about 2 or 3 good drafts away from being good again, in my personal opinion.
Okay. I mean, until I put it to you like this, they're in the same boat as the 49ers. Sorry, Snug. I already said until Kyle Shanahan do right by us. Yes, until he do right. Until the Tennessee Titans give back the Houston Texans their history of the Oilers, everything they want ain't gonna go nowhere. Ain't gonna go nowhere. It ain't gonna go nowhere. Snugs, what do you think about this? How do you feel?
Well, when I saw it and and kind of thought it over for a couple of days, and read a couple articles and stuff like that, it definitely it felt like more of this was I think somebody just mentioned that he was like not a well liked by the players, like a more of a that type of firing, because 18 months in, you just drafted Cam Ward, which means like you're kind of tying yourself to him. So it just like, and I'm not trying to say he wasn't a brilliant X's and O's guy. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to say like, obviously I'm sure that part of his stuff was lacking as well, or you wouldn't go full on in and do it. And maybe that's where some of the frustration is coming from the players. But it definitely does feel a little bit more like he just really wasn't going to get along with the players. We kind of knew this. Maybe him and Cam also like butted head type thing. So, but you kind of get yourself in a. And I don't mean in a bad way, but kind of like, with the Bears, meaning as if like the next guy you hire, like they have to want to coach Cam. Like you're not moving off of Cam. And then going to J-Make's point, you're also not really just like one draft away from, voila, like, hey, like maybe some really elite coaching could squeeze out more wins, couple more wins, maybe you should get, type thing. But yeah, you need a couple good drafts, maybe a free agent to somehow maybe want to come there or something like that. But it's going to be interesting who they hire, like I said, because the main thing you're going to have to really figure out is, hey, do you like that? Almost has to be the first question is, hey, do you like Cam Ward? Because if the answer is no, you got to go to the next person. So that's that's kind of the thing to get you in. But then I guess it's kind of a good way to get ahead of it now. You can use all of this time to, do that research. But yeah, but I'm not really sort of surprised that it happened.
Hen, what do you think?
Not surprised that it happened. I would definitely like, some of these coaches to get a little bit longer leash, if you will. But I think with him, to you guys' point, to Sniggin's point, that there was some discord in the locker room. Wasn't seeing the progress from, not just from Cam Ward, but from anybody in our organization from last year to this year. And again, just a lot of dysfunction in that whole organization. We've seen, a number of coaches. We've seen a number of GMs the last couple of years. Jay Mick, spoke to the lack of talent. I can't really name an outstanding player on that roster right now.
Simmons.
I'm sorry, Simmons. That's about it. I'm about to the defensive tackle, and that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. And we're talking about a team that's perennially been picking in the top 10 to 12 in the draft every year. Haven't thrown a bunch of draft picks around. Actually got a couple of extra ones when they traded for A.J. Brown. So these guys are swinging and missing. And, it's not an attractive job. I think, as other jobs come open, I think that's going to be, again, good thing about the NFL, it's only 32 of those jobs, so all of them are attracted to somebody. But if a couple of other ones come open, it's not the most attractive job. I'll tell you right now, as soon as Miami comes open, I think that becomes the most attractive job. Better, I mean, compared to Tennessee, we've already got talent there, and it's Miami, no state income tax. I mean, I don't see no problems with that. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how, what they do in the interim, how they finish the season. Like you said, Mike McCoy, I'm pretty sure he should be pretty long in the tooth because I remember him from seemingly years ago being a head coach. So I don't think he's the guy of their future. Just got to see how it goes.
Definitely got to see how it goes. Mention Miami. Mike Daniels is on the hot seat. You got Jonathan Gannon out there in the Cardinals. He's on the hot seat. He also got fined for that slap by the team as well. You got Zach Taylor with the Bengals. He's on the hot seat. You got Brian Daboll. Now, I don't know. Brian Daboll.
All them jobs sound better than Tennessee. Everyone unite.
All of them. It is true. Like, we're not trying to troll. It's true, though.
No, but it's true. But with the Giants, to be honest with you, Brian Daboll's like in that gray area. I don't know if he should be fired, but I don't know if it.
Well, let's be clear. Let me talk. I mean, we seen a couple. We gonna talk about my man in the Jets who about to be fired. They say about to be fired after 1 year.
I can't believe.
We got my man who won. I'm sorry, he got fired after 18 months. Daboll, his resume as of right now definitely says, hey, we can stamp it as he can be fired at this point. We can definitely stamp it there.
No, that's fair.
But with that being said, I think that he did possibly buy himself some time with Jackson Dart. And again, depending on how this season goes, we're seeing development. We're seeing them be competitive. We're seeing them win some football. I mean, that was a big win over Philly last week. So right now, it's the signs are pointing towards, development and maybe keeping him on. He has that. He's got that. What I call the Josh Allen ticket in his back pocket. He can. The feather in his hat. He can say, "I developed that guy. Maybe I could develop this guy in a similar fashion." But when you don't have anything going for you, no positive momentum going for you, it's real easy, man. Especially in the social media era where folks can just basically say, "Hey, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. It's time to move on." The next thing you know, you out here like James Franklin, man. Just a couple weeks ago, we like, man. They might win the CFP. They might be in the CFP. Now, you know what I'm saying? He relocated with 50 million, but hey,
I could tell you, I never said that now.
But no, like I said, I mean, Brian Daboll is 20, 36, and 1 over there during the course of his 4-year tenure. So, I mean, again, we'll see. Giants is just that one in that gray area. We just don't know. They put Jim Harbaugh on the hot seat as far as that. I mean, he's been a long tenure coach over there at the Ravens. Just not looking so good. I don't know, but they put him on the hot seat. And then we got Aaron Glenn. I know everybody's like, I do not believe that this man will get fired after one season. I mean, we didn't see Dan Campbell get fired after his season with the Detroit Lions when he took over. So I'm not sure. But again, we have to remember he is with the Jets.
Yeah, but so that's my division. So what I'll say. Yeah, the Jets are horribly run, but they typically don't fire coaches after 1 year. It's not something that they have a history of doing. And I was in the Jets Twitter space early in the week, and a Jet fan in that space said something interesting. Like, this coach was actually one of the few coaches that was actually hired by the owner, because when Saleh was hired, the owner was, I think that was during the first Trump administration, and he was like an ambassador for Trump in like Ireland or something. So he didn't hire Robert Saleh. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the first coaches in the last decade that he's actually hired. And I think that was a good point, because if he hired the guy, I don't think he's going to fire him after 1 year. And then if you watch some of the Jets games, the only game they got blown out of is the Bills game. Like, all these other games have been one possession games that go down to the wire, and they start off with a tough schedule. So I mean, so like some of the Dan Campbell, I think like Dan Campbell started his first year, he started like 0-8 or 0-10, and then he won like 3 or 4 games that season. I think if Glenn can win like between 3 to 5 games, I don't think they'll fire him.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I'm with Hen. I wish these teams kind of give these coaches a little bit longer leashes, because again, you got to think some of these coaches are taking over from what other coaches have. And to go back to Snook's point, is this your quarterback that you want to stick with? Is this the type of team that you want? Is these the players that you kind of want? Sometimes guys got to get their people in. So these short little leashes that we're giving some of these coaches, because some of these owners are like, I want this now. Like, sometimes you can't get it now. It takes some development. And I'm not going to lie, it's not that much talent that we are getting coming out of college like we were back in the day, to where you can demand that. I mean, I'm just going to use this because they used Andy Reid as a scapegoat. That's why I really like Philly like that, when they try to make their own super team of the NFL and basically blamed Andy why they weren't succeeding when they got all of that talent. So again, and this jumps right into a good segment, me talking about the Eagles. Is KC coming back, and what do we think about the Eagles moving forward? Because this ain't the Eagles that we saw last year, and we seen KC struggle before, but are they finna sit over here and get their dominance back like they the New England Patriots of the old, and come over here and show everybody what it is? I'm gonna start with Snug. Snug, what do you think? Do you think KC is now found a little swagger and coming back, or is the Eagles just taking a downturn for the worse?
No, I think I mean, some of these things we might not want to hear what's going to be said, and it is painful. But yes, I do think KC has found. The thing is that I don't think it was being talked about enough, because they had a couple losses. I think where they start 1-2, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Mahomes actually was playing pretty well, and there were a couple little things, and it just always kind of felt like, almost kind of go back to the Jets thing, was like, it was like, oh, little things here, little thing there, maybe, could have swayed their way. But it really does seem like they kind of found something here. They're playing the Noah Williams kid a little bit more. I noticed in the last game, and that really helped out their secondary. It allowed McDuffie to go into the slot a little bit. I know for AFC teams, I don't want to hear it, but I think they, I think, as the movie says, Stella got her groove back. I think it's happening before our eyes, and then listen, as far as the Eagles, as an NFC foe, this is actually fun to see. This is good. Now, listen, I don't think they're like crash and burn. Like, I don't think they're like, panic mode or anything like that. No, I just think that they have a couple more holes in their boat than maybe they realized, and sometimes you don't realize that till you play some games. I do think there's, like, if you were to put a pie chart on the wall, I think some of that pie chart would have to be Jalen Hurts right now. I get, the nice comeback in the Rams game and things like that, but there's still some things going on there. Like, clearly there's something going him and AJ Brown that have not been on the same page. The running game just can't get going. I know they're having some interior, pressure, like line play issues, things like that. So maybe they can figure things out. I kind of feel like they're going to be a player at the deadline. I can see the Eagles making a move, just because it feels like they kind of probably feel like they have to. But yeah, I'm not ready to push a panic on them yet. But if you ask me which one would I put more stock around to end up being better, I would probably put a little bit more in the Chiefs right
now. Okay. Now, see, Hen, I'm coming to you for a reason. Because I don't know what your bro Brian Branch was thinking. I don't know if that was emotions. I get it's Juju. Juju is he's an actor and all of that. I get that. But I don't know what he was thinking at the end of that game, why he decided to do that. But you just had your bout in with the Chiefs. What do you think? Do you think the Chiefs got their swagger back? And then how do you feel about the Eagles?
First of all, listen, man, we stand with Brian Branch, man. We stand with him. He's a young man. He let the emotions get the best of him, and he made a mistake on a large scale. And and guess what? We all have made mistakes, missteps in life, and fortunately for us, it was not in front on national television in front of a whole bunch of people. And hey, but I tell you this, he's for no games, and I think he let the world know he's for no games. Strap him up. Hey, if you don't want to shake your hand, hey, he ain't shaking no hands. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But as far as KC, I think that they're getting it together, and I think with them, the KC and Philadelphia, man, let's understand what we're saying. We're seeing them kind of retool while making these championship runs. So it may take them 3 or 4 weeks to kind of get it together, to kind of figure out how these new pieces, these younger pieces, are going to mesh together, how they, dealing with some injuries and things of that nature. So I think, what they're doing in Philadelphia and Kansas City is kind of a beautiful thing, even though it's a competitive situation. and them being able to retool while making this run is something special that not every team can do. And I think both of them are going to be factors in the playoffs. Will they be the best versions of of themselves, the versions that we've seen maybe in years past? I don't know, but I think that they still both teams are legitimate threats in both the AFC and the NFC, and could be the favorites. So yeah, I think there's still a problem.
But okay, there's still a problem. We gonna see now. J Bank, I like Snook said. I know you didn't want to hear that, because you guys are playing very well. But I know that you don't want to hear that KC might be getting their swagger back for y'all. But how do you feel about that? And how you feel about the Eagles?
So first I'm gonna get to the whole like people love comparing my like franchises, prime years to the Chiefs, and I'm gonna say something my mom always told me: just be yourself, man. I mean, you ain't gotta be like us. I mean, it's okay. Like, you ain't gotta be like the Patriots of the 2000s and the 2010s, and you can just be yourself. I mean, you ain't gotta be like us. That's what I'm gonna say about that. I mean, like, I didn't think they were gonna beat the Lions like they did, but they beat the Lions fair and square. I mean, it was they, I won't say they controlled the whole game. I mean, once the refs overturned that Jared Goff touchdown, I think it kind of went downhill from there. And the Lions, I mean, like, you could see it on the defensive end, like, this couldn't stop them. I do think the Chiefs are catching their stride, but then again, after this week against the Raiders, they got to play the Commanders and the Bills, and normally the Bills in the regular season they beat them. And I mean, yes, like, the Bills are in rough shape, but the problem is where the Bills struggle is not what the Chiefs want to do. The Chiefs want to run. The Chiefs don't want to run the ball. The Bills can't stop the run. So that's, I mean, like, the Chiefs gonna have to have a different game plan to beat the Bills. And the Commanders, I think the Commanders can give the Chiefs a game. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they got back to 500, but I think the next 3 weeks are going to tell you if they're really back or not. Like, if they go 3-0 in them games, then it's the Chiefs of old, and the AFC got a problem. I mean, but I think if they don't go 3-0, let's say they go 1-2, or I mean, even a 2-1, I think that, like, watching the Chiefs, I just think there's areas of that team that vulnerable. Like, they're, like, the coaches does not want to run the football. They don't really have good running backs to run the football. And then Rashee Rice is coming back, so it's going to make that wide receiver core really, really potent. But I think they're still susceptible on the back end, and I think Jacksonville showed you that. Like, if you have the talent on the outside, it can cause problems. So I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say they're not back. I'm not gonna say they are back. I'm gonna hold my cards tight to the vest, and I'm just gonna wait on
it. Okay. That's from the AFC, our AFC foe right over there. He's saying the Chiefs still got to show him something. I'm just playing, but no, they did. I mean, I know a lot of Detroit fans, a lot of regular NFL fans say that the Detroit Lions had to play the 12th man over there with the Chiefs when they're talking about the refs. So again, we all know. Move on to the next game.
Yeah, hold on, E. Hold on, E. You know what? Damn the 12th man. You know what I'm saying? We not subscribed. I'm not subscribing to that type of thinking. You know what? It was 4 plays that could have changed the whole trajectory of that game. We'll go through them real quick. 4th down drop by Amon Rock. Gotta have that play. Early in the game where Aiden Hutchinson had Mahomes wrapped up for a sack. I can't remember the down and distance, but he let him basically get free, completed the pass. They went on to score in that game. Another play where Aiden knocked the ball out of Mahomes' hand. We had 3 guys dive at the football. We didn't make that fumble recovery. And then another Aiden play, the late hit. Those 4 plays, amongst numerous other ones, could have changed the whole trajectory of that game. So as far as the refs, they were not the problem. There were some fishy things, but we're not even going to hang our hats on that. Mahomes was special, and all these guys that we pay a lot of money to and we call special, they've got to be special. My young dogs got to be special. That's the bottom line.
Trust me, I completely agree about that. It has to be that way. Again, I know that sometimes when we looking at college football, we can kind of say that. I'm looking at you, Auburn. I'm looking at you. You don't play the first 30 minutes. You play all 60 minutes of the game.
No, I'm glad they didn't too.
So look, I'm tired of them. They literally talking about the SEN. Look, I'm just gonna say this. Y'all ain't got your apology now, right? Thought so. Anyway, because if anything, where's my 7? But we're not gonna talk about that. All right. Tonight we have the Old Man Bowl going on. Yes, I did. We got the Methuselahs of the league playing. The Methuselahs. You have Joe Flacco playing with the Bengals, and then you got Aaron Rodgers playing with the Steelers. So this is the Old Man Bowl.
Okay? The mid-age range.
The mid-age range. They gonna need a nice ice bath when they get out. So that is on our Thursday night football, but we're not going to talk about them. We're going to go into our game of the week. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus Jacksonville, Indiana versus the Chargers, and Detroit versus Tampa Bay. With that, and I'm just gonna throw this in because me and Snooks, we didn't put this game down here, but me and Snooks got a game on Sunday night. My Atlanta Falcons versus his 49ers. It's literally going to be running back versus running back. Bijan Robinson, number 7, versus his Christian McCaffrey, of all they call him, CMC. So we're not going to talk about that game though, because we're going to say that for when we come back next week to have that conversation. Because I ain't trying to jinx that right now. Because we got injuries going on both sides of our team, so we ain't even going to talk about that. But in there, I'm gonna start with Smith because this is his NFC West foes with the Rams versus Jacksonville. Who do you have?
Unfortunately, I have the Rams. Yeah, I still saw some things in the Jacksonville game. I noticed it against us, which is kind of why we still, even though we made the mistakes that we did that game, the Niners still had a chance. Their offense still, to me, it's staggering a little. It's it's stuttering a little bit in like the second halves. Still not loving how they're fully running the ball. I think the Rams defense is playing well. Kerry, I don't think Puka's going to play, but I think it's all right. They might not need to score a lot of points. They didn't. I mean, I get it. Lamar didn't play, but they didn't need to score a lot of points last week. I don't even know if the Rams have even had like a big scoring game this year. I don't know even if they've had a 30-point game. Maybe they had it maybe only once. But yeah, I like the Rams, and I think they're going to win it. Kind of come through like a 23-16 type game.
Okay. Hen, who do you have?
I'm going with the Rams as well. I think it will be a close game because there will be no Puka. And this is in London, so definitely get your fantasy lineups locked in early. With that being said, though, like I told you guys last week, man, the Jaguars, they did this one of the biggest teases in the NFL. They throw out, have those 4 or 5 good weeks, and then as soon as you think that they, are a very, very, very solid team, they go and let you down like last week. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Rams in this game, and I think this is a big Kyron Williams game.
All right, J. Mick, who do you got?
I'm going Rams too. I think Puka gets hurt a couple games every season. I mean, that's just a reality. Like if you look at the seasons that he's had, he doesn't miss between 2 and 4 games. And I think this is the reason why you bring in a Devontae Adams. I mean, like you bring him in for these situations where Puka not there, and he could be the alpha, at the wide receiver position. And I mean, Tay got a lot left in the tank where he can do that. So I think if Puka don't play, I think Matthew Stafford is going to spam the ball to Devontae Adams. I'm not even questioning that. And then also agree that, I mean, this is, a Kyron Williams kind of game. It's they don't lead them in the run game and the pass game. And I just think, and I said it last week, man, like the Jaguars got high on that Chiefs game. And I said, I didn't expect them to beat the Seahawks just because of that point. And I think sometimes when you win, these like high profile Monday Night Football games, especially against a team that's been running the conference for a while, and you get kind of, like you read the press clippings and all that, and you start feeling yourself. And that's just how I feel. Like, I mean, the only way I see the Jacksonville winning the game is I think Trevor Lawrence got to have an incredible game. And I'm just not sure that he's capable of that against that defense.
We'll definitely see. I got Jacksonville. I knew y'all were gonna probably pick the Rams, so I got Jacksonville.
Do it for the team. Do it for the team.
Listen, I hope they win. I just think those lamb chops are gonna pull it off. Unfortunately,
the lamb. I'm mad he called them the lamb chops. I do want some lamb chops. I do.
Yeah, you know okay. About lamb chops. I'm like, what lamb chops?
I got nicknames for all 3 of those punk kids in my division.
we have Indy versus the Chargers. Now, this is a pretty game. Indy has definitely been playing out of their mind, but then the Chargers have been struggling these last couple of games. Jay Mick, I'm gonna go over here because I know the Chargers are with and Indy are both part of your side, and I know you kind of looking for them wild card spots. So, who you got for Indy versus for the Chargers?
Well, first of all, I'm looking to win my division. I mean, I'm in first right now, so I mean, that's what I'm looking to do.
Look, yeah, you still can get a wild card spot now. Come on.
I'm up with a wild card, but this is a tough game because I would pick the Chargers, but I think they have too many injuries. Like Joe, I think they said he might come back this week, but he might not come. So come back. So he might not be back till next week. It's just like on both sides of the ball, like the Chargers got a lot of injuries on the offensive line. Like they have injuries on to some of the edge rushers. And I just, Indy coming into this game pretty healthy, man. Indy doesn't have a lot of injuries. And I think Daniel Jones is playing really well. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is playing like he's the best running back in the league. I mean, that's, he's tradable. I mean, there are a couple names you can throw in that hat, but I mean, JT having an incredible season so far. And I just, like I said, I just think the Chargers are way too injured, and I think the Colts are going to win again.
Okay. Snooks, who you have?
I have the Colts as well. I'm going to ask you guys something real quick. Do you guys think if the Chargers were playing any other like decent AFC team last week, you think they'd win that game?
No.
Right. And that's kind of what made me answer that, like how I picked this, game pretty quickly. Like I think they were able to run the ball because I think I could run for 10 yards on the Dolphins. And I still had their passing game is starting to look like, how it kind of like I get Ladd had the big play in Ladd, but but you guys know what I'm saying. Like it just kind of and so for me, I think the Colts are just playing a much more cohesive team football right now. I think they're better. Like Jay Mick said, I think Jonathan Taylor is running off for his mind, right? Like I just think they're better. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Colts are leading that game for most of the game. I would not be surprised. Like if every time you go to look up the score, like they're always up, I would not be shocked by that at all.
Okay. Go ahead, Cihan.
Colts are definitely playing some good football. But how long do we trust Daniel Jones, man? When does the Cinderella slipper slip off of the foot and the real Daniel Jones show up? That's the only question that I have. But because like Jay Mick said, the Chargers are so beat up, they're having some problems offensively. Both the tackles, I believe, are out. They're having some problems protecting Herbert. The Colts are coming in with a pretty decent defense. They found some guys who can put some pressure on the quarterback, and they've been doing a decent job against the run. But I'm going to tell you though, Quentin Johnson didn't play last week against Miami. He was a late scratch, and I think he comes back this week. I think he, per my fantasy team, looks like he's had a healthy full practice today, and I think that's going to definitely aid Herbert in this passing game. But I am going to pick the Colts. They've been playing pretty good football, and they playing that type of football that seemingly travels well. Solid defense, even though the secondary has been giving up some plays, but solid defense versus the run and running the football and not turning the ball over. So I'm going to go on the Colts in a close game.
Hey, well, we all picked the Colts. So Colts, I'm sorry if y'all lose. Our bad. Our bad.
Parlays in.
Something's undeniable, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, look, but I mean, our bad. That's it happens like that. I'm sorry. But yes, they definitely have. But I do agree. I'm not sure when Sam Darnold kind of fell off from the Vikings last year. After he had an incredible season, so you might be looking at the same thing. I don't know. We'll see. But that is definitely I think a question mark. What a lot of people are having is when will that fall off actually happen? All right. So our last game that we have is Detroit. It's cold in the D versus them Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, see him before we get into it. Is you playing in Tampa or are they playing in Detroit?
No. It's in Detroit. Monday Night Football is in Detroit. So
okay.
Home game for us. And both teams. I mean, it's a battle of attrition. Basically, both teams are coming in with beat up teams. I'm hearing right now no Bucky Irvin, possibly no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no Ibuka for Tampa Bay. But for us, no Terrion, no Brian Branch, of course, possibly no Kirby Joseph, and a host of other, possibly no Taylor Decker. So again, this is the attrition bowl, and we just need a victory, man. Normally we bounce back off the after a loss and get a win. It's be good to be in that atmosphere at home. So hopefully we can pull it out. But Baker's been playing great football this year. He's one of my guys who I probably will put, if not top guy, in the top 3 definitely for MVP this year. So just got to hold him out, man. I don't know who he's going to be throwing to, Willie Lump and them, but we got to keep them out the end zone.
Not Willie Lump. Just don't let him get
Johnson
hot.
boys, the Johnson boys.
Yeah, just don't let him get hot in that fourth quarter, and tell your fans don't talk noise to him either. That gives him motivation. Snugs, who do you have in this game with Detroit? We already know who C. Hen's picking, but who do you have in this Detroit versus Tampa game?
Yeah, C. Hen's taking the Bucks, right? I figured. No, listen, man.
You see the points on this bad boy, maybe. No.
This is tough, and C. Hen's one of the reasons why, because both teams. I feel like a lot of the NFC teams that people want to see either be contenders or might think are contenders or however you want to word it, right? Man, are they all beat up right now? Are they just all beat up? So I'm still going to go the Lions. I think a little bit of how Tampa Bay won this last game over the Niners, and I think just like Detroit kind of maybe need a little bit of a bounce back. Prideful team, well coached, those type of things. It could very well probably going to be one of the better games of Week 7. Could come down to whoever has the ball last, and they just need to get field goal position. But I'll take Detroit. But I do think it's going to be a really good football game, even though both teams are banged up.
Okay, J. Mick, what do you got?
Like Tampa Bay, like I really like what they got going on, but they got way too many injuries. Like I think it's the same thing with the Chargers. What I said in that game. I mean, what I heard was that Bucky Irvin already been ruled out, so he's not playing. And then the Mika I heard got a hamstring. I doubt he gonna play. I'm not sure about Mike Evans playing. I'm not sure about Godwin playing. I mean, they just got a lot of injuries, man. And I mean, like the Lions do too, and especially in their secondary. But if Tampa Bay don't have these guys that Baker could throw to, I just don't know how you're going to expose the Lions secondary with a bunch of injuries in the suspension of branch that they have. And then the Lions got the offensively they're not injured, like they're going to put up points. I mean they didn't score a lot of points last week, but I anticipate they're going to put up more points this week. So it's just about if Baker can match, score for score, and I just don't think they have the talent on that side of the ball to do it. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
All right. Y'all know me. I need Tampa to fall. We are second in our division. I need them to fall. I'm like J. Mick at this point. Look, I need to try to get in first place of my division so we can sit over here and make some money moves with that. So please, C. Hen, please do me that real favor because it is cold.
We're going to talk to the people. We're going to talk to the boys. You know what I'm saying? Get them motivated.
Yeah, let's get them hyped up, please. Please. It's time for the Baker magic to end. Deceased. But again, we got the old man bowl going on. I'm calling it the Ancients Bowl. This is the OG bowl. This is that one. Like again, they called it the icy hot bowl. So we are into the game. Game already started, but check us out next week after that. Like I said, it's some good games. Me and Snugs, we play. We are the Sunday night matchup. And just to throw this out here too. The Indiana coach, I did not know that his signing was $93.2 million guaranteed. So if they fire this man without cause, all $93 million is due. That is the most stupidest contract I ever seen because the thing about it is you got to hope that man bringing y'all some talent and y'all stay the way y'all are because if y'all go numb and go dumb, y'all owe that man all $93 million of that contract.
I mean, he kind of earned it thus far this season. I'm not going to cap.
He earned it.
$93 million?
That's kind of crazy.
Damn. But I just got to tell the that's what I'm saying. You got to be pretty low to earn $93 million in 1 year to bring. I mean, golly.
I mean, that's crazy too, though. Man.
I mean,
if
hey,
I'm not mistaken, they made the college football playoff last year. If I'm not
they
mistaken,
did.
I mean,
They
Yeah, they
did.
did.
They got curb stomped, but they did. But
they
Last
made
time I
it.
saw somebody, last time I saw somebody get handed 90-something million, about 6 months later, they was on the run from the feds. Mel Tucker, where you at?
Yeah. No,
I mean,
that's crazy.
no, I mean, hey, like I said, all of that is guaranteed. So they owe this man $93 million. So if they even fire him, you still got to pay that man $93 million. So that is one of those ones where
They may be the new
I don't
Penn
know what
State.
y'all were thinking. Yeah, you know what? On that note, we'll catch y'all next week because CN is on one today. Y'all have a good one.